Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the 2019 Outstanding Achievement Bryden Alumni Award goes to Eva Marszewski.
Well, I can tell you that when I started at York in September of 1966, I never imagined that I would be standing up here some 50 plus years later. And so it's an incredible honor, and I want to thank the university, thank the alums, honorable guests, Madam President, friends and family. The work that started Peace Builders started long before Peace Builders was started. And it really was about what is now described in the Sustainable Development Goals as peace, justice, and strong institutions. Peace, justice, and strong institutions is what they call SDG 16. SDG 17 is partnerships in support of other SDGs, and in this case, it's partnerships in support of peace, justice, and strong institutions. And why is that? It's because you can't have peace without justice. You can't have strong institutions without peace and justice. And so, since I only have 3 minutes and I'm known for going way over whatever time I'm allocated, I'm just going to give you a couple of quick thoughts. First of all, a lot has changed since 1966. A lot of things have happened since 1966. In my 4 undergrad years, we saw Martin Luther King killed, we saw Robert F. Kennedy killed, Pierre Trudeau came on board as Prime Minister. We had all kinds of turmoil. Kent State in the States. The conference that was described in the video, that was School 70, that was in the same month. When Osgoode started, I started in September of 1970, October, FLQ crisis in that October. And the world seemed to be in turmoil, and was. And my interest wasn't really in practicing. My interest was, what do we do about this? And I had been involved in student councils. I was involved in faculty council. There were no women litigators in 1973 and 72 when I was looking for an articling job in a litigation firm. They thought it was ridiculous. Women are not going to be paid attention to. This is not something women do, literally. Things have changed. Harry Arthurs, then dean at Osgoode, said that year, 1972, from now on, we are going to have a target of having 50% women attend law school. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. So what has changed and what hasn't changed? And what changed, when we used to cut and paste, we literally had scissors and glue. And you guys know, especially the students in this room, you don't use scissors and glue when you're cutting and pasting. Look at the justice system, and fundamentally, the system of justice, the process by which we get justice, has not changed. Not in 100 years, not in 500 years or more. That doesn't mean that the justice system that we do have isn't fantastic and it's one of the best in the world. But what it does mean, it has never actually adapted to deal with relationship-based conflicts. And when we talk about relationship-based conflict, we're talking about much more than just family law. We're talking about wills and estates. We're talking about boards of directors. We're talking about churches. We're talking about communities. We are literally talking about everything, because most of the things that we do that are meaningful in our lives are about relationships. And if you don't have relationships, you can't build communities. So it's also about community building. And tell me one case where somebody went to litigate something and they came out in a better relationship when they finished than before they started? Put your hands up if you can think of one. And the answer is there may be some 0.00001% of cases where that happened, mostly never. And if we are looking at a world where we want peace and justice and strong institutions, we want strong relationships, we want strong communities. So in this whole search, that story that I talk about, which was about watching an Indigenous community in the Yukon, all Indigenous members, maybe 20 of them, passing a sacred eagle feather. This young man had been convicted of arson, very serious. And the judge said, I'm going to do something for you if you all come up with a better answer. And meanwhile, this young man had no idea. He basically said, I can build, but I don't have money, I don't have time, I don't have a boat to get over there, I can't do anything. One round of that circle with that feather, somebody offered to take him by boat, somebody offered to lend him money, somebody offered to lend him tools, somebody took time out of their day. His part-time employer who was there was going to give him more hours to make more money. And that was the plan. The plan is, no, you're not going to rot in jail. You're going to do something to make up for this. So this man, who would have otherwise been homeless, regained a home. And do you think this young guy would ever get into a boat and burn down a house ever again in his life? So if we really want to help our society deal with conflict and the consequences and harm that conflicts cause, we really need to find better ways to help them understand. And the reason a lot of people don't understand is because they themselves have millions of challenges, and we don't need to go into the reasons of why there are so many challenges, but obviously poverty, health, mental health, lots of reasons. So, just to cut it short, when you sit in a circle, and you're all sitting in a circle here in one way or another, you're sitting in round tables, and you use a talking piece, which could be anything that's not dangerous, it doesn't have to be ceremonial, it can be anything at all that just says, I have the floor, and the talking goes all the way around the circle, not across, because then somebody takes charge, but it goes all the way around. Everybody has an equal opportunity to participate, and that's when the conversation starts. So that's all I can really say about what this work is about, other than to tell you that we've now been in the courthouse with a full court office as part of the court system and the youth courts in Toronto, and we've diverted over 1,000 kids. Probably a minimal of $45 million have been saved with those 1,000 kids that have been diverted out of the system, and that's only incarceration. We have 2 school pilots where the suspension rates have gone down by 60 to 80% because we have a dedicated circle room. When there's a problem, they go to the circle room. It's up to the principal, it's up to the vice principal, the teachers, the guidance. And that is the beginning. And all I'm going to say to end is we've heard our 2 first award winners talk about building centers, building spaces. And while we have a lot of buildings, what we don't have is we don't have a restorative justice center. A center where we can actually demonstrate why these things work, how they work, and how we need to actually start to think about switching gears and really seriously go forward in this direction of peace, justice, and strong institutions. And so, as they say, Tintantavia, we are going to try it. Thank you.